today we're gonna do all of my blushes. So I have them all right here. Honestly, I'm probably not gonna get rid of many of these, just so you know. So this may be more of a blush collection video than a declutter. But I just want to go through everything before the end of the year. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So first I have this. This is from Cover FX. It's one of the monochromatic blush duos. So this is the shade Soft Peach. So you get the matte color and then more of the shimmer on this side. I don't use these that much anymore, but they're so nice. I want to keep them. That is Soft Peach right there. So, so pretty. These are super pigmented, so you don't need a lot of them, but really nice. I have that one. And then I also have this one, which is Pink Dahlia. So it's just a little more pink, not very peachy, but still really, really pretty. And so that's Pink Dahlia. Honestly, Pink Dahlia kind of reminds me of the Patrick Ta blush in She's That Girl. It's a really pretty poppy kind of pink color. But yeah, those are definite keeps. Those are so nice from Cover FX. No one talks about those anymore, but they are so good. Next we have this one from Bobbi Brown. This is the powder blush in the shade Pale Pink. This I actually got a few months ago at TJ Maxx, or I can't remember if it was TJ Maxx or if it was Marshall's. This is such a pretty blush. It looks so scary, but then when you put it on, it's very, very subtle. Like hopefully you can see it there. It's just a really pretty, kind of a bubblegum pink, but it looks really natural on your cheeks. It's very similar to the Dior Rosy Glow Blush in pink, and I love this a lot. So that is definitely a keep. Next is this little mini blush from Natasha Denona. This is the Bloom Highlighting Blush. So I think I got this when the mini retro palette came out. Yeah, so that's it there. It's very, very pretty intense for a blush. It's very metallic looking. It almost kind of reminds me of a blush topper. The color of it kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm. It's really pretty, but I never reach for this. I never want to really. I don't know why. I mean, it's very pretty. I don't know. Something about this doesn't, I don't know. I'm thinking I might declutter this, which, speaking of that, I think I'm gonna list a few of these things that I declutter over this series on my Poshmark. So I'm gonna start listing my Poshmark in my description box if you're interested in anything. I'm not gonna sell things that have been used a lot, or obviously definitely not old things, but things that are pretty new like this that's barely used, I might try to sell. So this I think I am going to declutter for now. I just don't see myself using this. So that one is going to go. Next is something else I've gotten recently. This is the Clinique Cheek Pop Blush in the shade Nude Pop. I got this at the Cosmetics Company store, and this is maybe my favorite blush that I've gotten this year. It's very, very subtle. Like, it's a nude color. It's very natural looking. That is it right there. It has a really pretty sheen to it. It kind of reminds me of the Buxom Wanderlust blushes. The formula kind of reminds me of that, but it's a little more sheer than those are. This is so nice, and I use this all the time. Definitely want to keep it. I would really like to have another shade in these, but this is a definite keep. Next we have the Buxom Wanderlust blush in the shade Mykonos. It's a really pretty peachy coral. Oh, this is so good. You guys know, if you watch my videos, I love these blushes. So that's honestly kind of a similar color to that Natasha Denona one. It's just not quite as metallic looking, but so good. And then I forgot, I have that one in my everyday drawer as well. This is Buxom in Seychelles, which is there. So it's just more of a bronze, but oh my gosh, these are so good. They almost look like a cream on your skin when you apply them. They have like a really pretty luminous finish to them, but they're powders. They are so good, and honestly, I want all, I think 6 of them. I think they come in 6 colors. Eventually, I would love to have all 6. One of my favorite blushes of all time. Then we have Persona Superblush in the shade Georgia. So this is I would say it's pink with just a hint of a peachy undertone. Can see. It's really pretty though. It's a matte blush, so there's no like shimmer in it or anything, but it's really the perfect peach. It's a little more muted than that Mykonos from Buxom, but still really pretty and a definite keep. I think this comes in 2 other shades. I only have this one, but I really like this from Persona. You know what's coming next. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because we all know how I feel about my Patrick Ta blushes, but I'm going to go through them quickly. So this is one of his original blushes from the Monochrome Moment collection in the shade She's Sincere. It's just a really pretty matte, kind of a nudie peach. So that's it there. The color of it kind of reminds me of the Clinique Nude Pop blush with not as much, or it doesn't have the sheen to it that the Clinique one has. It's very, very light and subtle, but this formula from him was made to be really buildable, and it is. This is the only one I have of the Monochrome Moment collection, but I love it and definitely will be keeping it. Then we have my newest one that I just got during the Sephora sale. So this is She's So LA. So you have the powder and the cream. So, so pretty. I can't remember if I've used this yet in a video or not, but I will be using it soon. It's so pretty. I don't have anything else like this really. This could honestly be a blush or a bronzer, or it could just be the only like cheek product that you use and be blush and bronzer, but so good. I don't know. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, like I said, but this is so good. Then we have probably my favorite, which is She's That Girl. It's the really poppy pink. So we have the cream and the powder. I know if you watch my videos, you've seen me use this most likely. I absolutely love this blush. So that's She's That Girl, that's She's So LA, and they're perfect. The mixture of the cream and the powders together are so good, but they're also great on their own. You can't go wrong with these from Patrick Ta. And then the last of my singles is She's Different. I always forget the name of this one. This is more of a wine color. It's really unique. I don't really have another blush in this shade, but it's so pretty. I'm running out of room, but I want to show this to you. So that is Oh She's Different. It looks a little more pinky on your skin than it does in the pan. It looks a little bit dark in the pan, but it's not really when you put it on your face. So there they are. So good. True Love from Patrick Ta. Love it. While we're on Patrick Ta, this is the Holiday Blush Palette. I did a whole dedicated video on this, so I won't swatch it and do all of that, but I mean, do I really need to say anything? I don't think so. This is everything. One of my favorite makeup purchases I've made in quite some time. It's an obvious keep. Next, I have 3 Cheek to Chic blushes from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is Ecstasy. It's a peachy pink. That is Ecstasy. Then we have Pillow Talk, which is the classic kind of rosy, nudie pink, which is there. And then we have the one, this is the most interesting color. It's more of a brown, but it looks kind of like a bronze on your face, but then you get this really pretty pop of pink in the middle. So there they are, Ecstasy, Pillow Talk, and the Climax. Love those. All of those are definite keeps. And then we have this little duo from Tom Ford. This has a blush in it, but it also has a highlight, but I have it with my blushes. This is the shade, or this is the Skin Illuminating Powder Duo in the shade Incandescent. This is what it looks like. So you get the blush and then this highlight down here. These are so pretty. So there is the blush, and I'll swatch the highlight too. They both just have that like wet look to them. Ugh, they're so pretty though. That is beautiful, definite keep. Next I have this blush from the brand PYT. So this is their Heartbeat cheek color, and this one is the shade Hustle. I never use this blush. I think I got this one time on sale from Ulta, I want to say, online. So this is it here, and it's a really pretty tone. I don't know why I don't use it. It has shimmer in it, but it's kind of, I don't know if you can even tell. It has actually kind of a silvery shimmer to it. If you look really, really closely, it probably won't pick up on camera. It's pretty though. It's definitely more of a luminous blush, but I don't use it, so I don't know if I should keep this or not, to be honest. I feel like I should declutter this because it always just sits. It never gets any love at all. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna declutter that one. Trying not to keep things that I know I don't reach for, because the chances of me just randomly starting to reach for something that I've had for months and months and months when I typically don't is not very good. Okay, next we have a few from NARS. Now, the weird thing is all of these are the same. So this is my newest one. This is NARS Orgasm in the large limited edition packaging. I think this came out earlier in the summer. So this is new, and I definitely want to keep this. I think I got this because I wanted to replace my original NARS. So there is NARS right there. It's so pretty. NARS Orgasm. So that one is a keep. And then this is my old NARS Orgasm. I don't know how old this blush is, but it's very, very old. So this needs to go. Because I don't know why I didn't get rid of this when I bought that new one, but this is very old. It's, I don't even know, years and years and years old, but time for that one to go. And then I don't really remember buying this. I feel like I might have gotten this in a set one time at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, but it has the Orgasm blush, and then I guess this is the Orgasm highlighter. So there they are swatched. That's Orgasm, and that's the highlighter. That highlighter is really pretty. Actually, I don't think I have ever used this. It looks like it's been swatched. Yeah, I don't know that it's ever been used. I don't really need the blush because I have that large one, but that highlight is really pretty. Yeah, so I think I'll hang on to those for now. Okay, moving on to a few blushes from MAC. The first one is this. This is one of the mineralized skin finish blushes in the shade Lovejoy. So I'm kind of torn about this one too. It's a really pretty nude with some gold kind of reflex in it. But I've actually gotten this out to use it a few times. And every time I've used it, I feel like it's a little deep for me. So that's it right there. But I mean, it's so pretty swatched. So I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe I just need to use a lighter hand with this one because it's really pretty. I feel like when I bought this, I was thinking I was buying the shade Warm Soul, and somehow I bought Lovejoy, but yeah, I feel like that's too pretty not to keep. I probably just need to use a lighter hand when I use this, so I'm gonna keep that one. Then we have just the classic powder blush from MAC in the shade Melba. It's a really pretty peachy blush. Just a matte, not a lot of, or it doesn't have shimmer in it or anything. So there, it's got a little bit more of an orangey undertone, but it's really pretty. That's another one I don't really reach for, but the color is pretty. I need to use this more, so I'm gonna hang on to that one. Last is the MAC Glow Play blush in the shade So Natural. This is probably my favorite of the MAC blushes that I have. It's just, the color of it is just so pretty, and it's what I personally like in a blush, so it's very light. Obviously, I like those really light nude blushes. It looks kind of similar to Clinique Nude Pop, but that is so nice, so good. Yeah, so that one is a definite keep. Then we have two blushes from Hourglass. These used to be like top favorites for me, but honestly, I don't reach for my Hourglass blushes that much anymore. But I'm not sure why, because they're very unique. They're very subtle, very sheer, but that's what I like. That is the shade Diffused Heat. It's kind of more of a blue toned pink. And then this one is Luminous Flush, which is honestly very similar. Has a little more of a peachness to it, whereas that one is very pink. They're both pretty. I need to reach for these more. They used to be my favorites, but I just tried others that I like a lot, and I just haven't used these that much, but I do want to keep them. And then I have three from BareMinerals. The first one is such a favorite. I love this so much. It's the Blonder. This came out earlier this year. This one is in Kiss of Pink. And sadly, it is limited edition, which I will never understand. That was a big mistake on their part, if you ask me. That's it right there. It is the perfect pink. It's creamy, has just a little bit of a luminous finish to it, but it doesn't have glitter in it or anything. It's so easy to work with. It applies beautifully. I mean, this was so good. I hope we'll bring this back maybe next summer and make it permanent, because that is a really beautiful blush. Then we have the Bounce and Blur from BareMinerals in the shade Blurred Buff. This one has a lot of shimmer in it. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, but it does. Has a lot of a pretty substantial sheen to it, but it is very beautiful. So that's it there. So pretty. Can you tell I like peachy nude blushes? Because almost all of them have that look to them, but that is a definite keep. And then this is also, I think they still make these blushes, the Gin Nude, just the powder blushes. But this color, I'm pretty sure, has been discontinued. It's called Let's Go Nude. It reminds me of a lot of my blushes, but it's just a classic nude blush with no shimmer or anything. BareMinerals does blush really well, in my opinion, and I love this. This is the only Gin Nude blush that I have, but I really like this formula. Definitely want to keep it. And then I have two blushes from Dior. So these are the Rosy Glow blushes. So I have the pink one and the coral one. So this one is the pink, obviously, and it's very similar to Bobbi Brown Pale Pink. I love that one. They're very sheer. They're so scary looking in the pan, but they're really, really pretty on your skin. So that's the coral one there. They're very sheer, but they're buildable. Very natural looking. Definitely want to keep both of those. Then we're moving on to my drugstore powder blushes, which I actually don't have that many, surprisingly. This is the LA Girl blush in the shade Just Natural. I got this one this year, and this is such a pretty blush. Let me swatch this. If you like the shade of blush that I've been showing over and over, that like really pretty nudie pink peach kind of blush, you'll love this. This is the shade Just Natural. Really, really cheap, and I love this. This is so good. Definite keep. Then we have this from the Age Perfect line from L'Oreal. This is the blush, the Radiant Satin Blush in the shade Peony. This one is pretty old. Has a good bit of hard pan on it, actually, which I might be able to get rid of. So that's it there. You can barely see it. Oh, it's sad. That's really old. It's really, really sheer. It's pretty. You can see it, I guess. It's just very subtle. These are actually really nice from L'Oreal. They kind of have that similar finish to the Wanderlust blushes from Buxom. They have that luminous finish without being super glittery. I really liked these, and I think I will keep that one. Ooh, then we have this. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused blush in the shade, what is this? Always Punchy. I think this shade was like an elf.com exclusive, because I've actually only ever seen it on the e.l.f. website, but this is such a pretty blush. That's it right there. These e.l.f. blushes are so good, and I think they're like $4 or $5. So nice. That one is such a pretty kind of it's a pink, but it definitely has a little bit of coral to it. I like it a lot. So that is a definite keep. Then we have Revlon blush in the shade Tickled Pink. So this is similar to Bobbi Brown Pale Pink or the Dior Rosy Glow. It's not quite as blue toned. So that's Tickled Pink there. That's the Dior Rosy Glow. So you can see the Dior one almost has like a purpley hue to it, whereas this is like a classic bubblegum pink. But this is a great matte blush from the drugstore. Definitely want to keep it. Then we have classic Milani Luminoso. I don't think they even come in this packaging anymore. Oops. This is such a good one. This is very old. But this is such a beautiful drugstore blush, and it's old, but it still works really, really well. It's so pretty, so good. I've heard a few people say that they changed the formula on this when they repackaged it, so I'm not sure if they did or not. I don't have one of the new ones, but this is definitely staying with me. And then last but not least is this one from Flower Beauty. This is the Flower Pot Powder Blush in the shade Warm Hibiscus, which is like this. It's a pink with some golden shimmer to it. Almost kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm. That is it there. It's very light, very subtle, but it's really, really pretty. Does have glitter in it, but it's so nice. Definitely want to keep it. So that one will be staying. And that is actually it for all of my powder blushes. So now we're going to move on to the creams. Okay, moving on to my creams now. The first is this little mini blush from Rare Beauty. I just got this in a holiday set. I used it in the video I did with the red lip the other day, but this is such a pretty blush. Very, very pigmented. Like you can see how much pigment you get. This is the shade Joy, and this is a definite keep. You just have to be careful when you apply it and only apply a little bit, but definitely want to keep it. Then we have this little multi-stick from Ilia. This is the shade Ladybird. This is just a really pretty nude blush that's in a stick. Well, that is it there. It kind of reminds me of one of my other blushes I have from Nude Sticks, but I love the color. It's really pretty. I love cream blush, so that is a definite keep. Then we have the Tower 28 Beach Please Lip and Cheek in the shade Magic Hour. This is so good. This is so pretty on not just your cheeks, but also on your lips. I mean, look at that. Look how creamy and buttery that is. Oh my gosh, so good. Definite keep. This is the blush from Nude Sticks that kind of reminds me of Ladybird. This one is the Nudies All Over Face color in the shade In the Nude. And I will try to swatch it underneath. Yeah, Ladybird. So that is In the Nude. That's Ladybird. I guess Ladybird has a little more pink. In the Nude is a little more of a brownie nude, I guess, but they're very similar. This blush, every time I use this color from Nude Sticks, this looks so good with everything. It's just the perfect neutral nude, and it's more of a matte finish, but it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a really pretty color all over the face, even on your forehead, like over your bronzer. This is really pretty. So that one is a definite keep. Next, I have a few from Milk Makeup. So these are their lip and cheek blushes, and this is the shade Perk. This is a pretty vibrant coral, kind of a pinky coral. That's it there. These are really nice. They're very sheer. They also have kind of a citrusy smell to them. I don't really know what they smell like, but it's pretty strong. That's one thing I always notice. And then I have two in the shade Work. I have a mini and I have the full size. That's the mini. So this is my favorite color of the two. It's the prettiest. I would say this is more of a pink with just a little bit of a nudie look to it, depending on what you pair it with, but these are really, really nice. I have this color in two sizes because I love it so much. These are all definite keeps. Then I have two cloud paints from Glossier. Okay, these I never use, and I think I said that in my last declutter. I don't know why I don't use these, other than I know the few times that I have, I feel like they're just a little hard to work with. So that one is, which shade is this? Beam. It's a pretty orangey coral. They are, you have to be careful with them. You really can only apply small little bits, and they're hard to dispense. Like, look what just happened there when I tried to squeeze some out. Like, way too much came out. But the colors are so pretty. I need to just put one of these in my everyday makeup drawer or something and force myself to play around with them and kind of figure out the best way to apply them. But I have two of these and I am going to keep them. Okay. Then I have three from Fenty Beauty. These are the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blushes. So the first one that I had and fell in love with was this one. You can see I use this a lot. This is Petal Poppin'. Just a really pretty pink. I love the Fenty cream blushes. So nice. They're very buildable and I just really love them. Then I have Burkini Martini. So this is like the cream version of Bobbi Brown Pale Pink or the Dior Rosy Glow Blush in pink. And then the last one is Rosé Latte. This is more of a brown, really, really pretty, very interesting color. It definitely has more of a I'm trying to think. I guess it's a bronze kind of blush with just a little bit of pink to it, just like a touch of pink. But those are my 3 Fenty blushes. I love all 3. Definitely want to keep. Then we have this from Makeup by Mario. I got this a few months ago. It's his Soft Pop blush stick in the shade Dusty Rose. And this color, oh my goodness. Every time I wear this, somebody asks me what I'm wearing. Because it is, I don't know, something about this color. It kind of reminds me of Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. It's a very, how would I describe this? Kind of a mauve-y pink. I don't know, but this is so good. Probably my favorite cream blush of this year, and I really want to get another color of this. So good. I love this so much. So that is a definite keep. And then I have this from Iconic London. This is the Dewy, what is this called? The Sheer Dewy Blush in the shade Rose Riot. This is one I don't use, kind of like the Glossier Cloud Paints, but I don't really know why, because it's very, very pretty. This is a very sheer, kind of a watery formula, but it is just what it says. It's sheer and very dewy looking. Look how pretty it is. Oh my gosh. Something about myself is I seem to not want to use cream blushes that you have to squeeze out. So I need to keep that in mind in the future when I buy them, but I do want to keep this because I love that color and I really want to use that more. Next, we have this cream blush from Milani. This is the Cheek Kiss cream blush in the shade Nude Kiss. This is one of my 2 drugstore cream blushes. So good. Love this formula. This one is so creamy. I'm trying to think. This almost reminds me of the Tower 28 Beach Please in terms of the consistency. It just has that really rich creamy texture that I really like. That is a definite keep. Then we have the e.l.f. Putty blush in the shade Bora Bora. So this is a bright pink. This I like because it's kind of the opposite of that Milani cream blush. It's definitely more of a sheer formula, and it dries down to more of a powdery finish, whereas that Milani one stays pretty dewy. But that is it there. It's just a really pretty light pink, and I love it. Definitely want to keep. Then we have this duo from Galactic. It's the Cheeky Tint and Glow in the shade Lovey. This, I really love this. This was influenced by some of my favorite makeup artists on Instagram. They're always using this duo. That is it there. So that is the cream blush and that is the highlight. So, so pretty. I really like the products I've tried from Galactic. I don't have that many things from them, but I love this formula of these creams. That is a definite keep. And last but not least is the infamous Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm blushes. So I have Pinkgasm, which is the one that broke the internet when Madison Beer used it, and then I have Peachgasm too. I'm sure you know what these look like, but I will swatch them for you just in case you don't. So that is Pinkgasm. So pretty. It's a very rosy pink, and it's very, very, very luminous looking. And then next to it we have Peachgasm, which is there. It just has more of an orangey, peachy undertone, not so pink. They're both really beautiful. I love these so much, and obviously we'll be keeping both. And believe it or not, that is it for my blushes. So I hardly got rid of anything, but I didn't, like I said in the beginning, I didn't think I was going to, because I love all of my blushes for the most part, and I'm not going to get rid of things just to get rid of them. But I am going to declutter that Natasha Denona mini blush. I'm just going to get rid of this NARS Orgasm because it is old, old, old. And I just don't feel like I want to keep this for some reason. I don't know. It's not that it's ugly. Yeah, it's a pretty color, but it just does not, I don't know, doesn't speak to me. So I'm going to get rid of those 3 and keep the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and put them back in the drawer, and then I will show you the final result. Okay, so you may have seen this before if you saw my recent makeup organization video, but in case you haven't, so I have Drugstore blush, cream blush from the drugstore, powders. Patrick Ta obviously gets, the blush palette gets its own little container. Then I have all of my cream blushes back there, and those are all my blushes. I hope you guys enjoyed this blush collection. It was more of a collection, not really a declutter, but I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.